Hello, my dear children. Today we are going to continue our agriculture in our times lesson, which is the 7th lesson of our textbook, that is agriculture in our times. So today we will discuss about what is contract farming. What is the contract farming? So contract farming, actually the farmer cultivates a crop, but the seeds will be supplied from the contractor. Fertilizers also supplied by the contractor. He'll pay some advance to the farmer to take care about that crop. And after the harvesting of that crop, he'll get the amount from the contractor. If the yield is qualitative, then he will get more amount from the contractor. If he is not going to take care about of that crop, if anything goes wrong, like any pest attacks or anything like weeding is not completed, so that the contractor not shows an interest to buy these yield from the farmer. And also that contractor forces the farmer to pay everything to the contractor, including his charges. So it is like a risky, complete risk. Because if he works hard on his fields, if any pests are not going to attack on his fields, then only he'll get the amount from the contractor. Otherwise, there is no enough money to that farmer. Even he have to be ready to face his loss. What are the crops using by the contractors? Like paddy and alasandalu, bobbarlu, and the chilies, brinjal, maize, amla, groundnut, soya bean, cotton, cucumber. So these all are cultivate crops such as the contract crops. Also we call them as the contract crops or contract farming. Contract farmers are cultivating these crops. What crops? Palm oil, paddy, amla, maize, groundnut, soya bean, alasandalu, and cotton, chilies, cucumber. The companies advises the farmers. The companies are advising the farmers to follow the specific rules. And also provides the financial support. They buy the harvest at predetermined prices and pay the farmer after deducting the seed price and whatever the advances they given to the farmer and the fertilizer prices. Everything they will be deduct at the time of final production, means final harvesting. The companies use the produce as a raw material for making their own products. So these crops, the yield, they will be stored. The companies will be stored and they use it to sell that grains as the seeds. We know about of that. In these days, no farmer is storing his grains for the next seed, next crop. In the olden days, from their crop, each and every farmer stores some grains, a few grains for the next crop. But nowadays we are depending on the shops, so that these companies are investing more on these to get more returns. So many farmers welcome this arrangement, as they get advances for the crop inputs and are assured for the prices. But there is the risk. Here is the profit and also the risk. But majority of the farmers gets the risk loss from the contract farming, which is not safe to the farmers. It gives the benefits to only contractors. Small farmers come laborers in Venkatapuram. Small farmers come laborers in the Venkatapuram. Small farmer, the farmer who owns 1 acre, less than 1 acre or 2 acres. So that is not irrigated land. If it is not irrigated land, means that is not polam. If it is chalka, then they won't have the full work. They don't get the continuous work in that dry lands. So that they becomes as the laborers. They used to work. They used to go to work in the others field as the labor. So Ramu owns 2 acres. Example here. Ramu owns 2 acres of the land which depends upon the village tank. There is no irrigation for his tank, his fields. However, a few big farmers divert, because of the big farmers are diverting the tank water. So that like the Ramu, many of the Ramus not getting water to their fields. So that he is working, the Ramu is working in others fields. The Ramu dug a borewell by borrowing money from Vijay Kumar. Vijay Kumar, such a big farmer of the Venkatapuram, but no water found from that borewell. Then Ramu had stopped dreaming of getting borewell. He cultivates his land only in Kharif season, and remaining all the days he works in the Vijay Kumar's fields. Since the income from the fields is now insufficient, so he is whatever the income generates from the 2 acres of the Ramu's land, it is not sufficient, it is not able to survive, so that he is going to work in others fields. Small farmers of Telangana. 4 out of 5 farmers in Telangana are like Ravi and Ram, means small farmers. They own very little land, have poor irrigation facilities. They are in great need of loans, but the banks are not giving the loans, more loans to themselves. Recently I read the news in the newspaper. I don't want to reveal the name of that minister. So he received 2 crores 40 lakhs as the Raitu Bandhu scheme, under the Raitu Bandhu scheme. So the farmers, those who have owned 1 acre, half acre, they used to get only 5,000, 10,000 rupees, not more than. So big farmers are benefiting by the schemes. Conversation with a big farmer. The discussion with the big farmer, Vijay Kumar. So Vijay Kumar's house had a big compound. Big farmer means big house, and that was completely decorated. He have a paddy harvester, and thresher, 2 tractors with the trolleys, and the laborers were unloading the groundnuts from the tractor, and also 10 to 15 women separating the pods, plucking the pods from the groundnut plants in the shed of the Vijay Kumar. So when they went to wish the Vijay Kumar, they asked him, they interacted with him, when you are going to sell it, not now, when I get good price, then I am going to sell this. Up to that, I'll store this groundnut in my godown. I have my own godown which protects from everything. So Vijay Kumar has 25 acres of the land with 3 borewells. His paddy fields are in the command area of the village tank. His fields, paddy fields, are very close to the village tank, so that he have the irrigation facilities, but not the many other farmers of the Venkatapuram. So Vijay Kumar borrows the amount from the bank with the less rate of interest, and he will pay to the bank, and also borrowing the amounts from the bank to buy the agricultural tools like tractors, harvesters, threshers and other mechanized tools. So the banks also encouraging the farmers like the Vijay Kumar. Agriculture in Telangana. Over the years, agriculture in Telangana has changed. Even though paddy continues to be the main crop, major crop, and also the food crop of our in Telangana. So paddy is the rice is the staple food of Telangana people. So here the main crop is paddy, and other food crops like ragi, zawar, bajra, maize had declined. In the earlier they were used to sow these crops, but not now. And these crops replaced by cash crops like cotton, sugarcane, groundnut, turmeric, chilies, etc. A few decades ago, most of the farmers depended upon tanks and canals to irrigate their lands, but nowadays everybody depends on borewell. This has resulted in the depletion of groundwater because of everybody is depending on the groundwater, but no one is recharging the groundwater. Due to that, the groundwater, it has resulted a depletion of groundwater levels. All this has made small farmers vulnerable to crop failures. Only the small farmers committing the suicides, but not the big farmers, because the big farmers have their own savings, and banks also giving the support to the big farmers like Vijay Kumar. On the other hand, big farmers benefit from the new equipments. On the other hand, they are getting the benefits from the other equipments, new equipments. Actually, the government using a condition, those who owns 2.5 acres of the land will be eligible to get subsidy and to buy a tractor or harvester, thresher, everything. But the small farmers mean those who owns even 1 acre, what about of the farmer? He won't get the loan from the government. Agricultural laborers are not getting enough work and their wages are not rising. Government employment schemes provide relief to themselves like Karuvu Pani, a few days in a year. So they are migrating to other villages or urban areas in search of their work. So by this, agriculture in our times lesson has completed. We will discuss our 8th lesson in our next class. Thank you children. See you all. Take care.